Well, hey guys, I've been working on this Ammo Mike 83 3D bullet feeder, and I'm just about done with this thing. I want to express my thanks to Ammo Mike for making this a free source, and it was a nice thing for him to do. I did find some things that needed a little bit of improvement for my taste, because I do my bullet feeding nose down for the Star Lubricizer, and I'm building this one for my buddy. He lives on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, so it's not like I could come over and figure out the problems for him, so I have to get it all right here. So a couple of things that I did to improve what I thought in my head needed improvement was the bullet plates were a pain in the neck to pull out, so the first thing I did was make myself some knobs for this thing. Generated them in Fusion 360 in the CAD. That's been a learning process on its own. So I just make it blank and then I emboss whatever caliber I'm doing in, a couple of screws in the middle here, and that's it. That holds that down, makes it a lot easier to get out. Next thing that I was addressing was, because of nose down, which is a problem situation for bullet feeders, is that I made a bullet guide plate, and this is a reject one. Actually, it's because it printed with a slot right there. But what I started with is I made this edge here fits the inside of the drum tight. Here I made an 8mm step, and then as it comes up it's a 7mm step, so it progressively gets tighter as the bullet comes up. So right now I just have this stuck in with a little tape. I'll put a couple of screws in there to hold that down. And the whole idea behind that is it doesn't do anything if the bullet is in the upward position like this. It'll just go in that, that trough a little bit, and it'll come over, and then it'll just continue around until it flips over. But when the bullet goes down like that, now I get this a little out of level. When the tip of the bullet goes into that trough, it guides that all the way around until it gets to where it has to get to, which is the flip plate itself, and it guides it right in, and it makes it way more effective. So I did that, and I don't remember all the measurements. I think I did that a millimeter thick, maybe 1.5 millimeters, something like that. The next thing I addressed was, and it was a hard thing, I was messing around with the adjustable, and I like the idea of adjustable, but they were oversized and they were extremely hard to file down to get into the slots, and really you don't need a two-piece. So I designed a one-piece unit here, and with this one, if you look at it closely here, this piece here I continue with a full piece around like that. And the idea with that is if the bullet's tipping down just slightly like that as it comes up, it'll right itself and then drop and then go up the ramp. Let's see, and I increased the step right here. That makes it work better. The other thing I did, and let me see if I can get these things to line up here, is if I get these things to line up, that hole that is for the drop tube there, it was too close to the flipper. The flipper was disrupting the path of the bullet. So if you look inside, you can see that I moved the hole over as far as I could over that way to get it away from the flipper. So I moved it. If you look, you can see I moved it quite a bit there. So I did that all on Fusion 360. That's been a bear to learn, but I'm slowly getting it. So, but that worked out pretty good. So those are the improvements I did on the flip plate. The next thing I addressed was the flipper itself. The flipper really didn't have to be full length. I couldn't generate this arc, so I actually took the STL file and was able to get it into my CAD system. And what I did is I cut away a large portion of this bottom. You really don't need that. Once the bolts are seated into the plate, they do their job well. The only reason you need this is to kick off any that are on the top of the plate that didn't fall into the holes themselves. So I did that. I put a little extension arm on this. The reason I did that is I hate the internal springs on this, so I use an extension spring on mine. So that, now you can see how I got my setup here for the extension spring, and then I made a little tab off the back there, and that, you know, that's how the spring hooks up. And that I could pack out, and or if I need to take a loop off, it makes it a lot easier shopping around for springs. So that was that. The other thing I did, and I don't know if I can get it down here and you can see, but I cut a little portion of the flipper down a little bit so I could actually put a nut right down here, and then I could put a nut on the bottom and capture that thing good and tight, because the threads in the plastic just wasn't all that great. So that's how I did that, and I'll show you on this one here, and you can see where I stepped it down for the thickness of the nut right there. So that's that unit right there. The last thing I was addressing, and I did this also on my large bullet feeder that I made for my Star, is, and I call this an anti-tip unit. It's just a little, you know, shape like that. I put the angle on basically what the angle of the plate is, and that sits right on top of the flip tray right here. And the way that works is if I drop the plate back in here and press that again, and that, now you can see the hole is right there. And what happens is sometimes if you don't have your angle set up just right, because you're relying on gravity for the bolt to stay in. Now I got this thing actually tilted forward a little bit. You can see the nose of the bullet will not flop down in, and once it gets past that area, it'll flop back into the ramp, and then it'll start flipping over. It's just a little insurance, so it's an adjustable slot, so you can play with it a little bit. So that's about it for now. I'll show you this thing fired up here in a second. So let me just get things changed over a little bit, and we'll get on to that. Okay, I got this thing set up for the 45 semi-wad cutters. The only thing I have are my buddies. He's got the powder coated ones. I don't have any cast bullets without the wax in them, and it just gums it up if you have the wax in it. But this is what I've been experimenting with, and should work fine for the cast semi-wad cutters too. I'll turn this on slow and let you watch, and you can actually see when the bullets get caught in that groove and work themselves around. I'll do it on slow, it won't be too noisy. Also, cutting that flipper down cuts down quite a bit on the noise. So I'll turn on low and let you watch it. And you'll see that the bullet, I gotta catch them. I don't have the tube on here. So actually when they go, you can see that one, how the nose is out towards the wall. So that was the whole idea of doing that, and it just guides it right up to the hole there, like that. And all right, let me turn this thing on to full. how that all works. So let me set this up and I'll throw some 9 mils in here. Okay, I changed everything over. It's been so long since I cast these things. I think these are 124 round nose 9 millimeters. But got that thrown in. I had to adjust the plate slightly for the smaller bullet. And same thing. You'll see the base of the bullets as they come around. They're going to be tilted out towards the wall itself. So I'll turn this on slow and let you kind of watch that. And if I get down in there, you'll see as they come around. Oh, can underneath this thing. But you can actually see the base is going out towards the wall itself. And I catch these things, I don't have the tube on it. Okay. And get this thing here, and you can see how that just guides everything in. You can see the bullet hop right at that last bit, and I'll show you what's causing that, and I'll fix that when I get ready to send this thing out to them. I tried, I had a few of them. I even tried the 158, I think the 158s or 148, 38 flat point round nose, and they work fine too. So that's about all my improvements on this stuff, guys. Hopefully, you know, some of you'll try some of this stuff. I don't know if I can put the files I have for making this stuff on the website, but I'll try. You know, because I use Cura. It's an STL file, so it should come up, you know, in any slicer. So tell me what you think, and you know, if some guys want the files for this stuff, I'll be happy to try to get it to them. So, all right, guys, that's it for now. Okay, guys, I'm back again because I forgot to show you what was causing that 9 millimeter to hop up at the end. But right here, here's the plate. You can see, because I readjusted the flip plate, this edge sticks out slightly, so as the bullet comes along, it hits that edge. So I'm just going to take a razor and just put a little chamfer on that thing, and that should rectify the bullet hop at the end. So just wanted to put that in. All right, see yous.